Let's go, dude. It's Monday. Where are you? Where are you? I'm just clapping. Come on, kids. Yeah, buddy. Wake up. It's Monday. We got a Monday to burn. What's up, everybody? Welcome, and how you doing? Good to see you. Back for another week. I hope I'm not too loud or too quiet or too just... I hope the audio's working. That's all I can hope for. Got some exciting stuff to go over today. Some little late and end of the patch cycle additions to 4.9 still going into the PTU. We're going to check out today some scanning stuff that's going on. And I also just wanted to, you know, hop in here on a Monday, just chat with you. Crazy, I know. Who would have expected? How's the Dashbot? I don't have a that's a subscriber perk, right? I'm not one of them sibs. I'm more of a Star Citizen Dommy mommy, as I think it was. Who would say that? I think was it Echo Zeppelin? I would say that. I missed that guy. I hope he's doing okay. Now, I haven't checked this out, but genuinely, this is like the perfect way to make money for Star Citizen. We haven't really talked about this yet, but this is... I am amazed. No, actually, I'm not that amazed it took them this long to do this. This is definitely the kind of like late stage cosmetic stuff that you probably don't get to until you start to actually, you know, launch the game. This though, stuff like this, reactive stuff that's like cute, it applies to anybody in the game. They could sell these things for like $5-10, dude. They'd make so much money if this game was like, you know, doing everything it was supposed to. We'll see how that goes for them. I hope it goes well. I don't think there's anybody out there who's not hoping that they can make more money from cosmetics and take a little bit of it from the ship sales. Has the same eyes as the toy named Cosmo from years ago. Uh-oh. Antitrust? Wait, that's not antitrust. That would be... What's the other one besides antitrust? Cease and desist. Stop doing that. That's bad. Boo. You suck. Official. Rig. Mr. 09 Rigathy. Rigamatone. Hey, thank you so much, dude, for you and Ava and Tyrus and Vastin and the boys for taking over yesterday. Appreciate it. I gotta get caught up on that this week. The toys no longer being produced. You think CIG acquired them? They were like, hey, make the toy, but in our game, please. Server mesh it. Stat. Copyright? Yeah, I guess that could be copyright. Infringement. There it is. Infringement. That's like what our niece keeps talking about when it comes to our son being born soon. You can tell she's worried about the baby infringement. Little does she know, and you know, maybe she would be amazed to know this. Little does she know, we actually love her more than just because she was a baby. But kids are funny like that. It's an interesting dynamic seeing how she's getting used to the idea of another kid. More so like because since me and Mrs. Tomato were such a big part of raising her when she was young, we kind of have this different relationship with her where it's like not quite parental, but it's definitely, we've taken that position where we've like, she's lived with us for multiple weeks at a time. And so it's weird because she's really close to us, but she lives across the world. And now we're having a baby here. And unfortunately, because of the whole Iran war thing, she can't get a visa to come see the baby. So it's like this whole thing. And I don't know why I'm getting down this rabbit hole. I just want to talk more about my baby, to be honest. King Groon, how you doing, dude? Good to see you. Mr. Fluffy Gamer, ex-Fluffy Gamer. I never forget you've moved on from that, but I appreciate you being here nonetheless. Is the bobblehead going to be synced server side, or are we going to have desync between people looking at the bobblehead? Yes, the bobblehead's going to be desyncing. Bobblehead's also going to 30k every once in a while. Crash out, just stop working randomly. Who else is in here? Who's lighting up the chat today? Mr. Locke, good to see you, dude. I'll Locke Austri. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you had an even better weekend, dude. This weekend for me, A lot of greatness. I got to see a couple friends, some really good friends. We got to hang out and have a little brunch. I got to see my parents. We got to do a little bit more putting the nursery together, guys. It's basically complete now. In fact, I got this camera. I don't think it's wireless, so I don't think I can take it with me. Is there a camera I can take with me into the other room? I want to show you guys. Hold on a second. Could I potentially... You know what? I'm gonna get pictures. I'm gonna get pictures of it and I'm gonna show you guys on Wednesday. But the nursery is basically done. We just put up like stickers and decals. Everything's put together. I'm sorry, I'm talking about my baby. It's hard not to. Brigadier, Mr. Brigadier Bo. Good to see you in the chat, my dude. Tola Garf, welcome in. Alley Cat. Good to see you. Omega, Temper. Hello, y'all. Revolve. Matt Sully locking it down on YouTube with Jaybird. Love to see it. Fola, my man. The classic, the legend, the goat, the Fola. Last weekend was a 12-hour drive back from the beach. Lock, what? I hope you spent more than 12 hours at the beach, or it was a really good beach. Either way, I hope it was a good time, not just a bunch of driving. What's up, Citizen Caliad? Caliad? Did I get that right? That's kind of far away. Dude, my eyes. I'm not getting that old, am I? This song is sick. What is this? Timing. This song, it says timing by timing. Cool. Appreciate that. That's the joy of just downloading songs. Anybody who is ever a DJ in chat probably totally gets that one. Good lord. You download a song, it has a name, then you get the song into your collection and suddenly the name is the genre and the artist is the BPM. And the album cover is the freaking, I don't know, something else. Welcome to the show, Adamame. Good to see you. He's gonna be one of those dads. One of those dads. Dude, I'm gonna be a helicopter dad. But yes, I'm also gonna talk too much about my kid. Get ready for it, dude. I have been waiting a long time. Do you know when 4.9 drops this week? I'm gonna guess Thursday. And that's off of almost no precedent other than it just feels right. And I would hate for it to be Friday. I really hope they don't drop it on Friday. We'll probably get a pretty sure date in This Week in Star Citizen this week, because this is a patch that's not like, it's not dying for new features, you know? They don't have anything that's really holding this back. They're just getting enough fixes in, and a fix can honestly be pushed to an additional 4.9.1 patch. It's Kalied, pronounced like the first part of kaleidoscope. Oh, so collide. Dude, that's hilarious because I used to produce music and I used a really stupid spelling to basically spell out the word collide. So I had the same kind of mistakes. I will keep that in mind though. Citizen Cal. Xenothreat ends on Wednesday, so probably after that. Good call from the Ava. Po boy still a bachelor, wife and kids have gone since last Wednesday. Oh wow. Holding the house down on your own, huh? Thaki Solo. Thanks for dropping back in with the sub today, dude. I appreciate it. It goes a long way, and I mean it. Back to 7 on watching Busy One Day and missed. 7 stream streak from Thaki. Dude, the number doesn't matter. I'm gonna fill in the streak anyways. Thank you so much for being here, dude. Thanks for coming to check out the regular gaming and the news. Today is gonna be a mixture of both. Like I said, 4.9's got some updates coming in the scanning and pinging category. Not a huge change, but it's like probably one of the smaller high effect sort of things they could do with the game. And it's got people pretty excited. So we're gonna check out a dev update on the forums where he explains kind of what they've done, and then we're gonna hop in game and actually see the changes ourselves. Well, actually, before we hop in game, I'm gonna show you the history of how they've gotten here when it comes to scanning and what their plans are. and then we'll hop in the game. Well done, sir. You're on page 1. I don't know why Tolagarv's name is spelt wrong here. It's a shame. Have you done a new scanning update for mining ships yet? That's what we're doing today. Joe Face, you actually gain more since you had kids? I mean, everything that I am getting is that my time to game is going to potentially go up. Because as it is right now, I spend almost all of my time working. Whatever you want to call the stuff that I do. I spend most of my time like working on this stuff. So I realize now I am taking that time and moving it towards baby time, which baby time it requires just like rocking, holding, sitting with, and making sure is safe and healthy. And now I think that means more time for me to just like sit around and look at things. But we'll see. Either way, I'm excited for it. Do you have any plans for a tat in honor of your firstborn? I don't have any plans for it now. To be honest, all of my tattoos have been pretty I don't want to say spur of the moment, but like I had the idea and then just went for it. This is my favorite. I don't know if you can really see this. This is for anybody who recognizes this. This is an Expanse callback. It's not just from the Expanse, it's actually on the back of the Virgin Galactic. Virgin Galactic? Yeah, I think it's the Virgin Galactic ship that has this decal on the back of it. And they actually put their ship in it. So I will always have that propaganda with me. But this one was like... I think I was watching through the Expanse the second time. And I was thinking of like what I wanted to get for the Expanse. And I saw this and I was like, yes, that one. This was potentially a bad decision. This was actually my first update, and it ended up being freaking huge, which if you're getting your first update, don't get a giant one, and also don't get one with like giant bars like this. It just ends up with the artist coloring, and also don't be black. That's not as serious. That's probably not so much a problem, but the guy who was tattooing me had never tattooed skin this dark. And so he was like literally just coloring in my arm to the point where the skin was going away because he wanted to make sure it was good. And then my other tattoos, I didn't even go over these. These are freaking, this is all just a Turkish tea glass and Turkish baklava and a sailboat. And this is like just stuff I got traveling Turkey. So if I get something for my son, it'll probably be like because of something stupid he does that I never want to forget. Just get like a freaking tomato on my arm or something. You watched a video the other day of a guy with loads of tattoos, and one was text on his wrist that said the same tattoo, so that when he saw someone else with a cool tattoo, he could say to them, I have the same tattoo. Oh my god. And he spent skin real estate on that. Brother, that's crazy. Gotta get that extra dark ink. Yep. Yeah, get that pure dark, black on black. All right, let's talk about interesting stuff. But first, I'm gonna go turn on the air conditioning because it's been like 10 minutes and I'm already sweating, and I don't think it's because I am nervous about talking about exploration. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna go turn it on, and then we're gonna talk about actual space nerd stuff. Oh my god, it's hot. Alrighty. Now we got the AC on. Haha. All you European nerds. I'm sorry, I don't mean to. Get AC, guys. It can be very helpful. If possible, a VAV system. Those are the best. You know, 5 to 10 tons of capacity is all you need. It'll help a lot. I was also checking on Mrs. T because, like, last month, our due date is officially 5 weeks away as of today. But honestly, I think he's coming early. I'm thinking 3 to 4 weeks we'll see him. Like first or second week of August. A friend of yours has a "your ad here" tattoo on his leg. Good God. Apparently the UK is attempting to outlaw AC. That doesn't even make sense. They already have it. You can't, the society cannot survive without air conditioning. What the hell? Like residential AC maybe? Because you ain't gonna you're not gonna transport food without air conditioning. Sorry. You've been looking for an AC unit recently and they're all sold out. Every vendor for weeks. Oh man. Sounds like good business. That's what I used to do before I did all this stuff, so I am just thinking about all the all the tasty AC sales. Your wedding is August 15th. Maybe you'll both be celebrating. Hell yeah! Congratulations to you. I hope the wedding goes well. That's not too far off from when we celebrated. We got married in December, but we had our actual celebration with family in September. More people lose it in Europe to heat stress than Americans to firearms. Oh no, man. I don't know. There was somebody outside of our house yesterday, and this is not an irregular occurrence. I think this happens probably 3-4 times a year at this point. And it's different because I used to live with my parents. They live in a much nicer part of, not just town, they live in a different town, but it's a nicer neighborhood. And I've been getting used to like the more city life in this house. We just yesterday had a police helicopter circling our neighborhood, or like our local park basically. So like they were circling another area, but the helicopter was regularly flying over our house. And there were police cars flying through the neighborhood. And I'm like, okay, so they're trying to get someone. Is somebody like running through backyards? Do I need to close my back? I'm trying to do my gardening. Okay. You're going to interrupt me with my close and my very close time with my tomatoes? It's weird. And then there was a loudspeaker over the helicopter that's like something like, get out of the car, do not attempt to run, or something like that. I'm like, this is crazy, dude. I'm just Sunday. It's Sunday in July. It's too hot for this. It's weird. But yeah, man, I don't know how I got on that topic, but that was a fun moment yesterday. Where do you live that AC units are sold out? He's in the UK. They're just getting there. Interestingly enough, air conditioning was discovered because a dude was like, hey, ice is cold. I'm gonna put ice in this room and I'm gonna make that take all of the heat from this other room because the ice can eliminate the heat. And then he did that with a ton of ice and it worked. And everybody's like, wait a second, dude, we could do this in every room and it would be nice and cool. And then we had air conditioning. Thank God to John Carrier. Brilliant dude. One of the best inventions, I think. Of course, it's also not great for the environment. Your part of the world is an ambulance all the time because you live near all the olds. All the olds. That's one way to put it. Of course, outlawing AC is for the people. If you're in the UK government, you'll be fine. I meant more commercial, but yeah, there's that too. Parliament needs their air conditioning. Dude discovered thermodynamics again. Dude freaking made thermodynamics made sense to the rest of us, huh? Actually, I feel like that was the thermodynamics discovery. I don't know what was going on before then, but like we did not understand how to move heat before, right? Which is, it's actually a really interesting thing when you get into the science of it. Heat itself is what moves, right? It's the energy that comes from the heat. You can't actually move cold air. You can only take the energy out of air, which is strange. Well, I mean, you can move cold air, you can like blow air, but the idea of transporting coolness into a room is more about the idea of transporting the heat out of that room, which is, it was kind of hard to wrap my head around that at first. People in their cars running ACs getting arrested. They're getting taken out. The police helicopter's showing up. Excuse me, are you cooling yourself down there? All right, enough of that. Enough dilly-dallying. Let's talk about news. Star Citizen. My space nerds. Star Citizen's got some things going on. We've got an update on the transport system, actually. So Kange84, thank you Kange, came on to Spectrum and asked the question, is the core tech transport system being expanded in 4.9 from only Grimhex to other locations? This was kind of popping up. We saw that the buttons had changed in some locations, so this was a question. But originally the transport system was supposed to come out actually in 4.0. This is a May 15th, 2024 roadmap roundup. You can see the transit system refactor came in saying reworking the transit system used for trams, elevators to be compatible with server meshing, as well as generally more robust. And you can even see from, let me see if I can find the recent roadmap roundup. The transit system is actually one of the things that they make a very clear example of down here. Here we go. For those who remember the state of transit in early 2025, we're applying a similar philosophy here. At one point, months of bug fixing produced only incremental improvements. So we shifted our focus to developing new debugging tools for QA that could identify root causes rather than simply addressing the symptoms. This is huge. I think this is one of the biggest revelations of this whole update, that they've been trying to address symptoms rather than the root causes. Now, we knew this because in their head, in their philosophy, what they've been saying is, we have a version of this game that plays on server meshing. It's going to require a whole bunch of different things to work on a different backend, so we're not actually going to redo these systems now. We're just going to try and patch what's there to make sure it's good enough to last until we can bring in the actual new replacement systems that work with server meshing. And we can see from these kinds of roadmap posts, that's exactly what they say. With the new transport system, it's meant to have elevators supporting trams, trains, and transit across the universe, improve its reliability and scalability for technologies like server meshing. So that remains true according to what they've been saying. The big issue has just been that it took forever. This was the transit refactor that was stated to us in May 15th of 2024. In the monthly report of February, you can see here, somewhere here, they tell us that this has actually changed in plans. Transit. Here we go. So in the February monthly report, this is 2025, not this year. They say a strike team was formed to deal with underlying issues affecting the transit system, while another continued with the ongoing refactor towards the new transport system. So at that point, right, this is not quite a year, maybe 8 months after the roadmap roundup stated that the transit system was coming in 4.0. At the end of 2024, the transit system was then not included in 4.0, and we didn't really hear what was happening about it until the monthly report in February, where they informed us that the transit system would actually still be worked on while somebody else took over the transport system. Stick with me. The transport system is what we've been hearing about here. Okay? So, transport system, new system for server meshing. We're going to put that over here. Let's return to the transit system, which is the old one before 4.0, and see that they were still saying back during this roadmap roundup a couple weeks ago that they were trying to fix it in 2025 only by going after the symptoms. not the actual root causes. So the plan with the transit system was to never fix the actual system. And I think it took them longer to get past this transit system than they wanted. I think they wanted the transport system. I mean, obviously they wanted it in 4.0, but even after that was delayed, I think they wanted it last year. And from the way that freight elevators are working to the fact that elevators, I don't know if they're still killing people too much, but just the problems we've had with all that stuff comes from this. And they still haven't been able to get it everywhere. It's only in Grimhex right now. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because a dev answered the question that we've been talking about. Phil from CIG came on the Spectrum and said the transport system is ready for rollout in other locations and soon for vehicles too. That's because this also affects any moving elements inside of vehicles. So your Carrack elevator, your Reclaimer elevator, your Odin tram, whenever that comes, some decade. Really anything that's moving players gets affected by this system, and that's why it is very wide-reaching and could make a big difference if it works. They said in 4.9 we're expanding the utilization of transport to Area 18. So we are seeing a increase in the usage of this from Grimhex to an actual player location in Area 18. A good chance to get some more wide testing. The team working on transport is busy finalizing the integration of the system for instancing in 4.10. So it sounds to me like they put in an initial test with Grimhex in 4.8. Now they are moving forward with a bit of a wider test in Area 18 and 4.9. And then finally, sounds to me like they might actually get it all into 4.10. Will that fix our problems with elevators and trains and stuff? Finally? Fully? I don't know. But here is what Benoit was saying about it last year. This was his second talk on camera, kind of talking about the stability of the game and what they're working on and how it works. Here's him talking about their work on the transport system. No, that is actually just a video of Jared talking muted. Let me make sure that the sound is coming through the right place.
It's just we got self-healing.
Oh, turns out we had the launcher open. No, turns out we had the whole game open. There we go.
And it can carry us until the new thing comes in, and that's transport system.
Correct.
Go.
So transport is a complete rewrite of transit, right? Which has a much different approach to how it manages peripherals, things you click on to call up things, gateways, which are the areas at which the carriages stop, and carriages, of course. And so the transport system is a lot more resilient in its approach to streaming problems, which has been a thing in the past, right, for the transit. It's also the way it's developed is a lot more robust. And so the state of transport, let's talk about that. So the team currently have, the approach that we've taken for it is the system is kind of built at this point. And we have a single transport link that we use internally. So not yet on a player-facing build, but we have an internal build of this where new Babbage hubs are completely driven by the transport system, which is pretty big milestone for the team because it means like the system is basically kind of fully featured in terms of it's able to drive one of the major hubs drop. We are currently working at instancing those transit links. So just to reiterate what I said a little bit back in January, the introduction of instance hangars, which means dynamic gateways in the transit system, is really what like made it a big issue, right? And so now the team are working at adding that functionality into transport to make sure that we support properly dynamic gateways, which will allow you to have a transport link to and out of an instance. Now, this could be an instance hangar, but in the future it might be an area, a location that has some stuff in it, right? And so that's the state of transport right now. Is we're working on
Stormbreaker
transit link
that's
and
what I think.
Trains. So
I think they'll instance Stormbreaker too. You know, even just hearing something like that, I'm not saying this is fact. I'm not saying this is where they would go, but I would not be surprised if they just decided to instance all of the theme park kind of things that we do. Stormbreaker, Onyx, Tactical Strike Groups, Rockcracker. Seems like they've all kind of been built to be instanced. Which is a certain approach, and I think leaves a lot of people thinking how many of these kinds of things are you going to still leave to the open world for us to just stumble upon? And I'm hoping that's kind of like where the Valacar is going to come in, but we can only see.
Done elevators, and now we're putting the trains in with the full feature, which the trains have an additional peripheral, which is the timer, the added timer on top of it.
This is one of those things where we talked about it. In the finished product, it shouldn't look any different than what they've got. It should just work. There should just be a time where it's like, oh, look, all these things work and they've stopped killing you. Underneath, it's an entirely new system that was built after the implementation of server meshing, which is really the big thing. It's the old system was built long before server meshing. I know we reached out to the original developer who built it. Like he's not with the project. We're like, hey, you want to help us? You want to help us reconfigure it for the server meshing world? And there's like, no, you just need to build a new thing and whatnot. So
Dude,
you put together your team.
I feel like that is a very small look into something that a lot of people think happens at CIG and says probably happens at CIG because of how long this whole thing has taken, but doesn't get talked about too much. Where they have devs who have built stuff, moved on to other games, worked on those games, completely launched those games, retired, had grandchildren, and then went to heaven and came back. And then CIG is like, hey, you want to help us with something that you worked on? Which has got to be really, really, really frustrating for anybody who's being brought new into the project and is getting set with like a bunch of work that is, some of it's been worked on a year ago, some of it's been worked on 8 years ago, and all of it has been worked on by different people, and you have to figure out how to make it work. That's got to be really weighing on them.
We're building the new system. I don't understand why it's not called Star Transport though. I don't understand why it's not called Star Transport. But we're building the new
Starport. Starport.
Starport.
Why aren't we calling it the Starport system?
Hey, we could.
We're going to call it the Starport system.
I still think they should call the character creator Star Me.
We're going to call it the Starport system now. Here's what's going to happen. Anytime you try to talk about it publicly, I'm just going to call it the Starport system now. And it really doesn't matter what you call it internally.
Why do I do these shows?
But yeah, that's like I said. You've already got the first version. It's already working internally in New Babbage. We're adapting it for instancing, and there's some high hopes that we'll be able to get that in at some point in 2026.
So we are absolutely tech previewing that system in place where our goal is going to be to basically we want to try to do one full location with it, so that all that entire location, elevators, trains, all that stuff is completely Starport driven.
So I do want to be clear, because this is something that I've been criticizing lately. In my last video I talked about they need more tech preview, and they did use the tech preview for this. So this was a great use of it, and I'm glad that they did it. It was all, I think, at R-Corp, if I'm not mistaken. Transport system is a complete rewrite of the transit, trains, monorails, elevators. So during the tech preview, they did all of Area 18, excluding event halls, all of Grimhex, central physical elevators and hangar elevators. They did Orison's hangar elevators and New Babbage's hangar elevators. This test, I think, went fairly well. It certainly showed stuff, and it was all the way back in April. So like if you go to the letter from the chairman that I love to bring up, the one where Chris Roberts laid out for us how they were going to test all this stuff and make sure things actually worked and not lose track of the stability while they added in new features. This is not the right one. Then you definitely see that this is how it was supposed to work. Oh man, where is this one? I gotta find the end of 2024. There's so many letters. So many letters. Dude. This is why is this so hard to find? Let's see. Letter from the chairman December of 2024. Why is this one so hard to make come up? You see this? I think I've just been skipping over it. Here we go. So this right here, this is the model. This is exactly what we've talked about. It's what they told us they would do here. They said, we're going to leverage the tech preview channel, which was reserved for major new pieces of technology like the replication and layer and server meshing, and will now extend it to gameplay features. And they did that. This is a tech preview for the transport system. They ran it back in April. They've had time to now run it, let it sit in the background, test it, see how it works in the PTU. And finally, at this point, they are coming back and telling us, okay, we're getting it figured out for 4.10. It went into the 4.7 preview, I think. I think this was around the time of the 4.8 PTU. It has sat not in the live game for the entire 4.9 cycle, and it is now going to be brought into the live game in 4.10, or that's their plan. And that, again, matches exactly, literally exactly what they said this plan was going to do. I think if they could just do this with all of the things that they're trying to bring into the game that can be unstable, it will really help the game. I just don't think they have enough money to do so. I think it's mostly going to Squadron, and therefore they can only tech preview very important stuff like the transport system, because the rest of it's just not worth it. Either way, just a little look into some of the last bits that are going on in the 4.9 PTU. I guess this is coming in 4.10, not in 4.9, but it's an important development, and it's clearly been coming for a long time. Hopefully it works out, and hopefully it doesn't destabilize the game in 4.10. Little news for ya. And they still don't call it Starport. Yep. Shame. Stormbreaker would be perfect for dynamic meshing, where it spins up a dedicated server for the event once you land in the combat area. Yeah, or they just like make the tram ride into the storm section an instance break. That'd be really simple. We need more ways for players to interact, not less. Indeed. Indeed, indeed. Indeed, indeed. And I hear you. The argument with instancing is... it's such a nuanced argument. Because we don't know how they're going to apply it. We could go back to what they've said about instancing and what they want to do with it, but it's very... it leaves so much in the air for what they would or would not like to. It almost feels like at this point they can just say, well, we like this and it's working, so we're gonna not instance it. Or we don't like this and it is not working, so we're gonna instance it. Just like case by case.
To a specific group size, but it is also protected from outside.
If you are judging that based on a game that is broken, people who aren't playing it realistically, and folks who are just trying to make sure that everyone else has a bad time, which I guess, exists in normal MMOs, but like trying to make that decision with all of this content in the game when it's not live feels like it's just going to make it worse when it is live.
Interference. It's not to say that we don't love PvP. I'm a PvP guy.
PvP me, bro.
But like most MMOs,
it's on the internet forever,
a good
Benoit.
balance between a dangerous overworld and a protected instances is needed. Right now, we don't have this ability, and this is something we really need in order to give you a sense of progression that is tailored and balanced to a tunable amount of groups, so the difficulty matches the group size. There's a beginning and an end. It doesn't mean...
it scares me that they show Hathor during this talk. I would hate if Hathor got instanced.
That doesn't fit in our overworld strategy, meaning getting to the instance is dangerous, exiting the instance is dangerous, or can be interfered with others. But at least when you're playing the
see, he says the risk comes from the transition between instances, but like there's gonna be so much complaining about that too. We are going to see so much complaints about people who are doing content in instances and then leaving the instances and immediately getting attacked, because it's just going to concentrate players trying to interact with each other there.
It doesn't fit in our overworld strategy, meaning getting to the instance is dangerous, exiting the instance is dangerous, or can be interfered with others. But at least when you're playing the content, we can actually make something that's curated for one experience. So before anybody says this is only a PvE thing, this technology can also be applied to unlock curated PvP experiences that are as seamless as the PvE ones.
I talked a lot about this with Detox, by the way, on the podcast this weekend, if you guys want to check that out. He has a lot of things to say about it. He plays a ton with groups. Him and his org do a lot of stuff, and he feels strongly about this as well. Specifically about having PvP instanced areas and how that changes the idea of progression and risk.
So it's not about one thing or the other. It's really about unlocking developers' ability to create curated content. So that said, how will it work? Instancing is really an evolution over static to dynamic meshing. We want your instances to be as seamless as your instance hangars, meaning that when you take an elevator, you exit the elevator, you're inside the instance. A gateway opens, you cross that gateway, you're now into your instances. Could be also a quantum jump into an instance that you don't even see. The transition is just like a dynamic mesh transition. And so throughout the universe, we will be able to add these areas that are open or closed instances that allow you to join in either with a party and have a reserved instance for your party, or join in open instances that has a number of slots. And so some of those areas will be completely instanced on different servers. This allows us to leverage the compute power of the entire mesh. The closed ones will be really to drive one piece of content. You enter and exit seamlessly, just like we do with your instance hangars currently. Let's go and find out what one of our first instances.
So, yeah, it's a hell of a topic. Definitely one that's going to be, I think, one of the bigger topics of this year. But really, until we actually see this drop realistically into the PTU and people can play it more, not in a tech preview, I think we'll just be talking about it like this, hypothetically. Bunch of gnashing of teeth without knowing what the teeth are chewing. They wouldn't instance whole planets. No, but maybe there will be planets that are just their own servers. Yeah, I don't know, man. This could be a slow transition away from a lot more free to join content. You know, just like openly occurring content. At least that is narrative. Having narrative prepared content that occurs in the open world. This might be a pullback from that, more towards just dude, that was the freaking concept art. I didn't realize they put the concept art in this trailer. Is there a trailer for this thing? Like I can just click to on YouTube? On the YouTubes? God, that looks so good. Jeez. Nice picture. Y'all put out a trailer for the Rylan? No, they don't. Do they not put trailers out for these ships anymore? Is it in this? Oh yeah, it's right here. That's the concept art. That's the shot. Just about, like almost. They got this guy coming in from the top. They got this guy flying away. And then they got this guy, main guy, looking like a hulking freaking gorilla here. It's a beautiful ship. All right, you guys want to talk about exploration? Triggered. Eventually, given the base building, you imagine each planet and moon server setup will be a server, all of Microtech, all of ArcCorp, Crusader, etc. I hope they can get to that point, dude. Servers have gotten expensive. I think something that we're in mass missing is that CIG's cost for running this game has probably gone up so much in the last 8 months with the amount of just focus that's been on cloud computing. I know AWS is being utilized incredibly for AI stuff and all that jazz. Obviously, memory prices are making server costs go up. So I do think that like the prospect of running Star Citizen now is different than it was even a year ago, and that is likely complicating their predictions of how they can move forward. Yeah, with all this. Don't conflate possibility with probability. Just because this could go wrong doesn't mean the odds of that are high at all. Anxiety is crafty. Anxiety is crafty. CIG has an interesting history with that stuff. AWS costs isn't going up that much. Oh, all right. I had thought I heard something different. I guess maybe that was wrong. If those 101 players cannot see and interact over 2 servers, then it compromises the game. Oh, fair. Focus on large-scale server farms. AI computing is it's likely complicated. Several factors. I would think so. CIG will have long-term reserved instances and so on as well. I hadn't heard about that. But I do think even if AWS hasn't gone up, my little uninformed brain can't imagine that the prospect of running Star Citizen is the same as it was a year ago. Something had to have changed with the way that both the gaming industry has changed, layoffs everywhere, constant losses, people aren't investing as much money. There's a lot more focus in things that are more exciting right now, like AI and LLMs and machine learning and, I don't know, building things in space. Not building space, building things in space. That I can't imagine that it's going to be as simple now. NECA Claudius, thanks for the twerk and Tomat in the chat, dude. Thanks for the Prime sub. 14 months support in the channel is 14 tomatoes in the garden. Bless up. All right. Exploration. We got some things to talk about. First, we're going to go to the EU gameplay team because we're going to need a video from this video. A video from this video. A anecdote from this video.
Long distance probing.
Yes, that is right. We're going to talk about real deep exploration gameplay here because there is a scanning update that's got people pretty excited. Now, I don't know if it's... I don't think it's in the patch notes, actually. But I do believe that my man, SC Cargo Haulers, has done a video on this. And I believe I saw a post about this on the subreddit today. See if I can find that. Here we go. Alrighty, space nerds. We're going to talk about exploration. So I've got this pulled up. This is actually a look into a fairly historical reference for what exploration in Star Citizen is going to look like. I know. It's triggering. It's going to be all combat. They don't have no idea what exploration is. They lay it out here. This is long distance exploration, and we're going to get to this. But first, the actual mining changes coming from 4.9 are kind of leading us in that direction. Now, a lot of folks don't want to hear about this kind of gameplay because they want to discover new planets, but a lot of this gameplay is going to be about discovering resources. And an update in 4.9 has made that much easier for folks. Here in this update, Pleasant Following says, because I don't have the official patch notes for it yet, when you do this now when you enter scan mode and ping, you automatically perform a focused scan. So you actually get the information from the rocks that you're pinging. When you do this on a scan return, it will automatically identify what it is. You don't have to fly 20 kilometers to find out what you've pinged. I have also heard that when you do this ping on even cracked rocks, you will be able to see the breakdown of those cracked rocks. So you no longer have to actually mouse over the rock, hold down a button, have it get all the info, and then display it to you. You get it just from pinging out and getting a bounce back from those items. This is obviously a really big quality of life change. It's going to make mining go way faster. Anybody who has done mining, obviously finding that initial rock is frustrating, but really it comes down to when you crack the rocks and you have like 8 different fragments that you have to slowly scan each one to figure out which one you want. This is going to break down that time a ton. And that's great. That's great. But it also does kind of sort of fly a little in the face of their plans for exploration, not in the sense that I think it ruins it. I think this is different from long distance exploration. But when it comes to long distance, they want to focus on the idea that you don't actually know what you're looking at, and you have to have the knowledge to recognize it. So one of the things I liked about mining before was that they had signatures for everything you mined. Here's Mr. Kraken made a guide for it. Thank you to him. And you could basically look at these numbers as you scanned and understand what you were looking at. Now, there's a whole debate, I think, to be had here. It's subjective. It's basically the same thing as putting 385, 3855, or titanium, right? If you have the legend next to you, you can see it. But there is an argument towards how much of this game do you personally want to see be focused on player know-how, player skill, player knowledge, just understanding patterns and being able to get a step up on other people who maybe haven't been involved in that play style for as long. Now, you could say you want it to be completely all based on signatures. If you want to get ahead, you need to have this printed out next to you. That builds some depth there, but then it also kind of makes the game feel like it's making things more difficult just to be more difficult. So I think this is going to be a celebrated change in 4.9, but I think the overall idea of exploring and scanning for things and how we understand what we're scanning is going to be a consistently subjective thing. Now I'm going to take you back to the CIG devs themselves who were building a system based on this back in June of 2021. Can't tell you this is still how it's going to be. A lot of this is dictated by Dan Truffin. He's no longer with the company. God, I miss him. He's a pretty cool dude. I like the way he talked about things, but what you'll hear here is the idea of what long distance exploration in Star Citizen will look like. Not something that gets talked about very much. I think something more people should know about, because it's not like CIG has been secretive about the idea of exploration. I just think generally it's hard to find this stuff. Listen in.
That a lot of we hadn't actually talked about before, which was long distance probing. So let's start us off. What is long distance probing?
Well, long-distance probing is basically a system that we want to introduce where players have a ship somewhere in space and they can send out like probes and place them anywhere in the same system. And those probes will ping and reveal basically objects that are of interest there, or anything that might be there. And those objects could be like mining places, derelict stations, ships, anything that we could imagine that you could find there and we could spawn. And so you find something, then what you have to do there is triangulate. So you have to bring in the probes into position so you get the more precise signal on that. And once the signal strength is enough, you can either decide to generate a quantum beacon that you can basically jump to. You could store that information and sell it to other players. Or what we aim to have there is an analysis gameplay where you basically have a signature, a unique signature of what you found there, and then you compare it on your ship. So basically the drones, the probe sends back the signature, and you sit on your PC on the ship, and you compare the signature with everything that you either bought or you collected yourself in the library. And then you get an idea, okay, this might be in Gladius, this could be in a mining field. And then you can still decide to, okay, I jump there and I look at it, or the risk is too high, I don't jump there. So that's the rough rundown of it.
So that I mean, and this could be definitely a distinction between long distance actual exploration versus the short distance just kind of scanning stuff and prospecting and identifying stuff. That's, I even said in the chat here, you mentioned get what you're saying, or sorry, I'd rather the skill come into play when trying to crack a rock, not necessarily in finding it by having to fly close to it. This is another thing that I think Star Citizen deals with, and I'm not sure how it's going to go, but like the game loops kind of meld into each other. And if you're talking about having a game that allows people to specialize in different things but switch between gameplay quickly, suddenly you have this bleed over where the person who is mining is also kind of doing exploration. But a lot of people like that combination. They think that going out, prospecting, scanning a rock, finding out what's in it is part of the mining loop. Other people would look at mining and say, I don't want to do any of that. I want to go to a store. I'm going to buy some coordinates for a good mining deposit. I'm going to go there. I'm going to get the stuff and I'm going to turn it in. And that's mining. So at that point, all of the skill can be involved in how you're cracking the rock. You don't have to do any of the finding part of it. And I think a lot of folks are hoping that they do this so that the person who wants to be the explorer can go find the rocks, the person who wants to be a miner can go crack them. But that the game's not in that position just yet. And that happens in every area. You know, you want to be an FPS fighter who's only going to bunkers and getting loot. Oh, I'm sorry, you still have to be a pilot and fly your ship there. Wouldn't it be great if we were in a game where you could just get a ride to a place and not have to fly the ship? So it's a weird thing to go about because we don't have the final design of the game, so we don't know if this even fits into what they want to do or not. We don't even know if this is still real. But I do think that there is a conversation to be had about how much stuff should be exposed to the player, how much should the player have to find out themselves in the game, and how much does the game allow the player to skip that process in the subsequent encounters, you know? Yeah, you shouldn't have to memorize the whole signature chart for the game, but what if the signature chart is right there on your dashboard? Then the difference between knowing it and not knowing it is a couple of seconds that maybe makes you feel better as the person who did memorize it, but doesn't take you out of the game if you didn't. I don't know. All of this is not necessarily speculation, but it's definitely not, we cannot rely on this being the truth going forward. And I can show you why. Actually, it's not hard to find that, I think. Okay, it might actually be hard to find it. Let's see. It's interesting. All of the reactions to this pop up before the actual. Here we go. All right, let's see. See if this works. No. 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 Dude, come on. Jump with the chairman. The chairman. Of course that works. I don't think I'm gonna be able to find this code actually. This is like a 7-hour-long video, so might be pretty hard to find. Let me think. No. He was talking about this is a quote I'm thinking of where Jared was talking about. Actually, you know what I can do? I think I made a video about it. It's a while ago, actually. I thought this was last year, but I think this is 2024. No, I don't remember what video it was. Dang it. I hate it when I actually forget where a video was. I think this was just basically Jared saying that, like, the stuff that... Ah, here it is.
If you work in IT...
Ew! Ads! Sick. Space nerds. Star Citizens being... Wow, we've been saying space nerds for a while, huh? All right, here we go. This quote.
We work on the gameplay.
how the features affect the ship's developments and vice versa.
We work on the gameplay first, and then when the gameplay is there and the gameplay is developed and it's working, then we'll spend the time building the ship. The Orion is sitting, waiting for resources, waiting for a time where refining gameplay has come to the point where it can support a big, giant, crazy.
No, I think was it here?
Talk about something that I think will apply to everything.
Yeah, I think this is it.
So it's a good question. It's the kind of question that we get a lot. There's this idea that all the decisions that are involved in making a game are done before you start. And that's frankly, it's not true. It's not even close to true. We are constantly deciding things as we go. We hire new people. Torsten only joined 4 years ago. Imagine if we had every single answer figured out. And Torsten comes and joins a company and wants to make a game, and he has no decisions to make. He just has to do what somebody figured out back in 2012. Well, that would get us some pretty boring employees. We hire people who come in with new ideas, with fresh ideas, with better ideas. We don't spend a whole lot of time figuring out something that's not going to happen until 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now. It's not the answer a whole lot of people like to hear, but it is the truth.
So this isn't really new. It lends some yeah. So that's shut up. So that's obviously hearing something like that. Then when we go back to a video like this from 2021, you got to have a huge grain of salt. But this was, at least at the time, what they were thinking of for long distance scanning. So overall, it's quality of life change, cool. Where is exploration going from here? I don't know, but this is part of that, at least. And I hope you got at least some brain juice going, got some thoughts going for this one. Thanks for checking it out. Mining is going to be reworked in large part with Genesis, so it would be kind of silly to remake it and then remake it again. I don't know if it's going to be reworked with Genesis. The scattering of the materials will be, but will the actual process of mining? I don't think so. Now, are we getting fixes to mining bugs and break mining gameplay? I bet not. I don't. We could see I'm going to assume you're actually interested in knowing, and we could check out the patch notes and see what they've been doing with mining. Patch notes. You'd think fixing broken things and bugs would be paramount to making the game more accessible. Honestly, no. I would think making the game would be paramount. I genuinely, my mindset was always like, they're just going to keep working on it until it's done. But I think they've kind of cooked that. They've cooked that can. That can't work anymore. They actually have to keep it somewhat stable. I don't see scanning a target showed unavailable. No. I don't see any mining specific things here. Remote turret defaulting to PIP aiming mode. Social AI unable to perform sub-activities. Players can be given the same location. Force select repeatable missions. Nope. Nothing from this wave, at least. Then again, these patch notes also didn't have the scanning updates, so there might be stuff missing from them that we're just not seeing. They've only optimized the code to run, not to run any better than necessary for us to stress the servers beyond what they can do internally. Yo, YouTube, y'all are popping off. I love the conversation. This is why server meshing is different from instancing. Yes, very true. All refineries have the same problem. What are the refineries doing? Or disappearing or not being recognized in storage. Oh. To be honest, that sounds more like a database problem than a mining problem. All right, let's go check out these scanning updates and see what actually tangible difference it makes for us. First, get rid of these hints. Second, where is my Stream Deck controls? Here we go. Tracking's working. Man, I love it when the tracker's just working. More stuff disappearing. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. That's been one of the things that worries me the most about Star Citizen. It feels like literally since they've gotten their database in with PES, it has not been good.
Hey.
That part scares me. There's a lot of people not glitching. For the most part. Alright. Okay, we spoke too soon. Having an argument over instancing and you're part of the problem. That's okay. You guys can have an argument. Just keep it civil.
Welcome to the
It's good to get good thoughts and debates going on, man. I feel like we actually get somewhere in conversations instead of getting stuck on the most basic stuff that everybody disagrees on. Like how much money is too much? Although we do have those streams. Those are fun. All right, prospecty time. Come on, buddy boy. I'm also going to, depending on which station we're at, let us see if there are any mining lasers out here that I can get. You got Beam Eye Tracker 20 on Steam and have to take it out. Then stuff will refine. Wait, oh, I just... Chat moved. So that did not make any sense. Works really well with a webcam. Yeah, Beam Eye Tracker can work pretty well for if you just have a webcam. There are quite a few affordable alternatives for eye tracking nowadays. I definitely prefer the eye tracker from Tobii. But affordable options should always be available. There we go. They want to talk about making mining faster, but completely gloss over the idea of fixing the bugs that making mining a waste of time. Making mining a waste of time often. I mean, they can talk about making mining faster while it still has bugs, right? It's not like those bugs will have to be taken care of eventually. Imagine if they were just not doing anything because things were bugged. I agree they should be taking care of the bugs. But I don't get the sense that they're telling us they want mining to be faster while also saying they want us to deal with bugs. Have they talked about mining? I didn't even think these were real. Like, these aren't even on the patch notes yet. Oh wow, there's not much here. Just got a Lancet. I can't imagine that's much better than the Arbor. Optimal window size decrease. Holy crap, this is terrible. Laser instability. I'm going somewhere else. I'm not gonna freaking get these lasers. This is garbage. Come on, Pyro.
Clear Bay 3.
You were hoping for instancing this whole time when it comes to mission givers. Not every cinematic watching mission giver have the same conversation with each of the 4 players in the queue. Yeah, I think it's one of the better locations to try that kind of thing. Oh man. You're worried about instancing gutting what makes this game good because you're worried that once we get instancing as a lever, CIG can use it to fix content. They put it on everything and the open versus dead. Yeah, unfortunately, man, that might be where we're headed. And doubly unfortunately, no amount of yelling at each other is going to fix it. CIG developed this game. I'm always going to stand by, at least, okay, not always. until I get more information, I'm going to stand by the theory that if this game doesn't work out, it will be because they advertised it as a real game too early. And they completely diluted the community of people who were talking about playing and supporting this game with people who did not want to see a game completed. They wanted to play a game. It's two different audiences, and CIG has mixed that pot, and that makes it so difficult for them to focus on any one thing. Maybe I have a mining laser here. Nope, I've got nothing here. All right, let's fly back into Stanton? Where should we do our mining today? These are more of a shadow update. You think a large part of the complaint about mining is that those who don't want anything to do with it still largely are pushed to do it for crafting. Once there's a market, it will be viewed differently. I agree with you there, for sure. We need other ways to get materials than mining. All comes back to the social tools. No, dude. Just use Discord, bro. What do you mean social tools, dude? No, Discord, man. I f***ing hate that. That has only made me more mad over time. Sorry for hitting the mic. That hurt me more than I hurt you. The Discord zealots will have you thinking you got to use Discord to talk to mission givers in Star Citizen. All right, we can stick to Pyro. We can keep things interesting. How about we just get out to Patch City? Patch City? No, let's go to Bloom. Yeah. I want something pretty to look at. I miss Pyro 4 and its rings. I want those rings so badly. I wouldn't go to any other planet if Pyro 4 had its rings. Just stick to the good stuff. Until they actually do something wholly against the stance they have held to since the beginning, you personally withhold judgment until they say they are done. You're talking about in terms of like the overall format of the game? I think that's also what confuses people though, because they have completely changed their stance from the beginning. They just did it back in like 2014, 2015. They were originally, the game was going to be just a ton of instances. Everything was going to be instanced. There was no always connected, everyone's playing in the same area. Star Citizen was not being built to be this like wide open experience that it is now. That's part of why it's taken so long. To accompany that statement, when if gear parts degrade is added, we will all be attached to mining and crafting, so you imagine that will fan the flames of that drama. And like a moth to the flame, we come. Starting to be some places where you get materials without mining. Salvage missions, you can get metals. In the QE stations, you can get hand minables. That will definitely be expanded. I want to see more like... I want to see getting out on a map like this. Okay. This is my ideal. You get into a new system like Pyro. And there are not any of these. There are very, very few of these on your map. And in order to find these quantum travel locations, you have to find outposts. Bonus, you only find outposts in Hurston if you've already made connections with CFP or headhunters in Pyro. Yeah? You get your first level of reputation with them. They say, cool, we have a couple outposts in Pyro that you can probably go and get some extra materials at if you're out there traveling. Suddenly you have like 4 places you can stop in the Pyro system. As you go to those 4 locations, you get more missions, you meet more NPCs. These people can give you more locations. You can download maps from a kiosk. You discover data pads in caves and stuff that give you more coordinates so that eventually you are unlocking all these locations. Or maybe you just keep ranking up with the CFP and they keep giving them to you by default. But as you get these locations, then you can start to find different people who have different medals, or like loot boxes that have different materials, or even like components that you found through looting that you can break down that don't give you quality 500 materials, you know? There's still no quality material in the overall market. So they can't sell us quality materials, they can't buy quality materials for different prices, and they can't give us quality materials from breaking down or finding and loot, at least as far as I'm aware. All that stuff, dude, absolutely would make it better. But here we are. And you say stuff like that, and it sounds great. That would be awesome. And then you realize there is an onslaught of people saying, do not add that stuff, just fix everything else instead. So you're like, which direction do we go? Do they try and do both at once, or do they try and do one or the other? I say both at once, but they haven't really been doing a great job at that, so I don't know. The funding goals that they're set out would have been fine on CryEngine as it was, but for every stretch goal the backers pushed for and funded dramatically changed the scope. Yeah. Y'all. What's up, Colt? Mr. Kimber. You're way late to a party, but in a nutshell, what is new with mining? If you don't want to go over it again, no biggie. We're actually, it's less about mining and more about scanning. It obviously helps with the mining, but really, it's the fact that scanning can now identify everything you're pinging rather than needing to do a deep scan. You valuing the sandbox over everything, but why do you care if this non-sandbox stuff is instance? Just don't play it. I don't think that was a question for me. Ah, Mr. Brigadier. An MVP of the garden. You think they should just push forward with all the 1.0 content and playability be damned until they have it all in? Then go to a beta state and fix the bugs up to 1.0 release. Brigadier said, burn it down so we can build. Well, I guess not burn it down. Set it on fire. It'll be okay. Game sound is too loud. Thank you. Fact that they're developing both SC and Squadron at the same time is what's eating them right now. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. And it's kind of like, it is really getting to the point where I'm starting to be like, I don't know if that is worth it, dude. It genuinely might have been a ball and chain in this situation. As great a game as it could be, as fun as it might be to play through in terms of like actual efficiency of resources, that might have been really hurt this project overall. In terms of pride of delivering a product though, I could see it still being something that you want to do. Especially if you've spent 10 years on it. Alright, hopefully these guys have some good mining materials, because I'm not flying to another space station. I think they instead went with the third option, continue focusing on Squadron. No, as far as their financial reports go, they've stopped taking as much money from Squadron. There is a very distinct difference in the way that they talk on their financial reports in 2023 versus 2024 that does indicate that they in that year they turned back towards Star Citizen more. That being said, I agree with you to an extent in that I think most of their efforts are still going towards Squadron, and whatever turn they wanted to do towards Star Citizen in 24 likely wasn't as much as they wanted to, because we're still sitting here waiting for that game. Star Engine. Yeah, the Star Engine was like the big thing, and it's hard to differentiate the Star Engine from the actual game. Should CIG run both a live stable server and a tech preview PTU build like they did for 4.0? Do this for large core features, and both builds will progress your main character and rep. I don't think you should progress in the tech preview. I think tech preview should have its own persistence, but I do think they should do that, yeah. I always reference the satisfactory model, which is not unique in that nobody else does it. There are plenty of companies that'll... Oh, I gotta go to... There's another deck I have to go through too for components, huh? Or maybe over here. Just having an experimental build running alongside would be great. But again, I don't think they have enough money for it. Where do I get a mining laser in this place? You guys not have freaking lasers either? I'm gonna have to go down to an outpost on Pyro, aren't I? The studio that was helping with Star Marine separated, and again, the stretch goal is pushed for the single-player campaign, so CIG dropped Star Marine. Dude, well, I mean, Star Marine is kind of Arena Commander, right? So they just put them in the same version. The contracting history of CIG is probably a good video topic. Did you know that they had somebody contracted to work on the quantum simulation system? It's, yeah, they had Ilphonic do contracting. They had whoever was working on the quantum system. I don't remember who that was. They had Firesprite did some contracting. I don't know if Turbulent counts as being contracting. Oh, the refinery. Yeah, you're right. I'm so dim. I think I'm 5 times less efficient in this game when I'm talking to chat. But it's Monday. It's not even gameplay day. This is talking day, so we're okay. Problem with not having the experimental build linked to live progression of rep is people won't bother playing in the experimental build. Yeah, but in experimental build, you can just get a whole bunch of extra stuff. You know, it's like broken features. You could just cheese something, make like 20 million credits, and then transfer that to the live build. Or you can unlock some new loot or something that's in the experimental build, and then how does it even like understand that that's not available in the live build? Just seems like it'd be... Dude, where... I don't understand. Don't these elevators... Is there just no refinery at this station?
Thanks for coming in.
Okay.
Am I not an obituary? I guess not here. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's a refinery here. Nope. Alrighty, let's damn. Find another place for a laser, I guess. Good to know. Good to know this space station doesn't have the goods. That's how you learn. Get a paint for a single ship for playing and test to make people check it out and test. Not a bad idea. Lightning Og, you got to be member with Covalix. How long did that take? Dude, am I gonna have to go all the way to the inner system? Ah, man. That's really freaking frustrating. Alright. Nothing around Pyro 1, so I'm gonna have to fly all the way to Monox, I think. Checkmate. How far away is Checkmate? 262 away. Monox 257. That is gonna be two different jumps though, as opposed to this. It'll be a straight across system. Arrgh. Obituary is super local to Starlight? Or do the Starlight service stations have the stuff? Oh, wait. I'm at Starlight. Hold on, how did I get to Starlight? I totally... That explains it. I'm not even in the right freaking space station. This is why I don't fly. Do-do-do. Da-da-da. Yeah. Never f***ing fly. Oh, well, at least we figured that out. Good job, team. You'd like to know my opinion. If besides mission payout, CIG is intentionally overpowering certain guns, components, armor, and fuel tanks to test specific game elements. I do think that I think it's indirect testing. You put some stats on something, you throw it in, you see what happens, and that lets you figure out where it needs to be. I wouldn't be surprised that the folks who are doing the balancing are not trying to do some like very unique 4D chess moves. They're just putting something in around like a ballpark of where they think it might be, and then seeing how people react to it, and then adjusting from there. If you've got a whole player base to test this stuff on, you might as well. I don't know how much of it is like for a specific cause versus just trying out the latest thing, but yeah, I think that certainly adds into it. Can't think of them doing this wrong so often without an intention behind it. You know, I oftentimes think that the balancing tweaks that are made are insane, and they're weird, and they don't make any sense. And I often struggle with, like, they don't bother me too much. But I also think to myself, at some point they have to figure this out. Like, they're adding all this stuff in, and I don't really mind if you get, 25 out of your 70 guns in the game and they're not really balanced, because by the time you get up to 70, you're probably going to have to do things different anyways. But I also, there's frustrations in the back of my mind of like, but shouldn't they just still be able to do something super simple and get it done? And without a lot of context? I simply don't know. Tempted to uninstall Palworld. And that might be the first time we've heard Pal World in this chat. Not balance, but like testing for armor penetration. Yeah, I think all of those things are getting tested as we go. Or at least the data on them is getting recorded. What's up, Morgan? How you doing? I'm good, man. Hope you're having a good day. Here we go. Refinery deck. We're in bliss. Look at that, even a cargo deck. Or sales. Finally. Oh my. Okay, so clearly Pyro doesn't really have much going on. Oh man, that is just so freaking annoying. We spent so much time trying to get here for this. Okay. We'll just get the Lancet. And, probably a focus. Hopefully the Lancet has more than one attachment point. They don't, oh man. Alright, mining laser power we can get a boost on at least. The pyro refineries suck. Pal World 1.0 has been quite nice. Where's the Pal World talk coming from? Did 1.0 just come out? Oh, didn't they make like a graphical change so it's not so Pokemon-esque? De Pokemons. Live service games do not try to balance, they just aim to regularly tip the balance so everyone comes back to learn the new meta. Hopefully they at least try to make things make some sense, though. Make some sense, though. Hey! How do I get out of here? Why do you guys make the refinery so complicated? Guys. I feel like I'm just getting deeper and deeper in. Hey. Guys. This can't possibly be the exit. Why would you have to go this way to get out of here? Okay, this is looking right. This is looking promising. It's a tall ladder. I have no idea where I am right now. Go to Nyx and save yourself some headache. I should. I really should. Why am I in Pyro? Exit. You say exit, but I don't think you know what that means. Internal transit. Here we are. Figured it out all on my own. Hey, Jaybird, good to see you, dude. No problem on being here late today, man. I appreciate you hopping in. Avocado, you given into peer pressure and started another Pal World run. Was peer pressure just reading statements in chat? You know, put all the blame on these guys? Where am I? That's just like these Pyro space stations actually have a lot of back alleys and stuff. That was just one of the little locations you can get lost in. Not much reason to go in them, but they exist. Oh, you know what? Let's not be stupid. I'm gonna send this down to just change the laser out real quick. Oh man, I really regret that I'm probably gonna just fly to Levski, guys. What kind of time are we looking at right now? I've got the time. This is unfortunately like a simple task that's taking us forever, but at least we get to talk. But yeah, I think I really... This test isn't gonna matter as much unless we go get ourselves a Helix 1. And like some real attachments so we can see what you can truly do with a solo prospector. Some friends started a server last week. Wait, you can play with other people in that game? Don't go to Levski for size 1. Where do I go for size 1? Where does CIG care about solo miners? Gonna need to go to New Babbage. Brother, what the f, bro? It's funny, I was just talking to Avocado about like trying not to spend so much of my time just sitting. Ruin Station. Ruin Station, got it. Thank you. Guess I could have just looked that up. We were just talking about not spending so much time flying around in Quantum and like just sitting around doing nothing, and here I am, spending most of my stream flying around Pyro. Ends up being like that. Pal World has up to 32 players per server, and you can host your own dedicated server. Whoa. I totally thought Pal Worlds was a single player game. Oh, Carson, had you had said that? Sorry, I missed that. Thank you. Isn't the Stanton the best place to do solo mining? Probably. I don't know. Actually.
Oh, yeah. All right, y'all.
The big moment. What are you guys drinking? What do you have in this lovely day? Who's having tea? Who's on the coffee? Who's on the hot chocolate? Who's the smart among us? Pal World is the adult version of what everyone wants Nintendo to do with Pokemon. Why do you say that? Because there are guns? What scanning changes? Did not hear there is something new. Yeah, pinging, it now deep scans all your rocks instead of needing to scan them. You gonna stick to water? Hell yeah! Hydro homies in the chat. You got some Pepsi Max? Too late for tea, only drink it in the morning? That's solid. That's healthy. Good for you, dude. Koperberg cider. Ooh. Dude, I haven't had a good cider in a while. Although my friend did just introduce me to rice lager, which was a fun. That was actually pretty good. Making some iced tea. Got some apple juice with sparkling water. That sounds like pretty nice. You don't have any drink, you should probably go find one. Yeah, man. Come on, guys. Everybody should be ingesting some kind of liquid. Water, if you will. It's good for you. Yeah, Big Matt. Pretty big change. Pretty big. Water only during the day. What are you, like a water vampire? You only drink the tears of your enemies at night or something? Will it show percentage and quality? That we will find out together in a couple minutes. Now they just need to fix freight elevators in your back. I wonder if 4.9 will have any significant changes to that. I mean, maybe we should do some cargo hauling in PTU, but PTU is going to give you different results than live, so might not be worth it. You got up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym for the first time in a while. Give you coffee. Bro. Are you just kind of like throw me into the deep end and let me learn how to swim kind of? Burn me alive so I can figure out fire retardant kind of thing? Like 5 a.m. it's quite the time to start going back to the gym at. I'm proud of you. Props to you. I've been trying to do it for weeks now. I can't get myself up early enough. Oh boy. Quite popular in Northern Europe, although Coca-Cola will hold first. Pepsi Max? You thought it was discontinued? Maverick is spooling up the mocha as expected. Good to see you, Maverick. Thank you for being here, dude. Neca Claudius, I don't know if I said thank you for that sub. I appreciate you, brother. Subbed up 14 months supporting the channel. I appreciate it so much. Space Marine, you too. 33 months supporting the channel, you guys. It means a lot. As many of you know, this is my family's sole income. So you guys literally make our meals possible. Thank you so much for... I also obviously know good content. It's like we try to reinvest it back into what we're doing here. We are now a total of 5 people on the team. It's me doing a lot of the obviously on the camera stuff, management, recording, things like that. Mrs. Tomato editing the podcast, handling a lot of our background management stuff, community, and communication with sponsors and stuff. But we also have 2 editors now who are working on videos, and a 3rd person who has joined to assist on branding, getting emotes done. Like I said, I got a couple channels that I'm going to be starting up soon, or one new channel that we need to get some new stuff for, and we're going to do a refresh. So it means a lot. Every sub goes towards helping to keep them employed and helping us to keep this running. And we'll be running a streamathon in a couple of weeks to make sure we can keep doing that through August, because yeah, I guess actually we're about to add another one. Little baby boy is going to be number 7 or number 6. Yeah, dude. Honestly, it takes a lot more work than people think to do all of the videos. All right, preferably this has what we're looking for. Toes. Might make some iced coffee while you wait for your iced tea. Wouldn't iced coffee take longer than iced tea to make? A streamer that starts a stream at 4 a.m. so you can have the stream live while you work out. I mean, I'm pretty sure both Morph and Super Mac are on at that time. I can just watch. I'm actually more of a YouTube video guy while I'm working out. Podcasts and YouTube videos in the background. Hey, what's up, Krassix? Tis a boy. Tis a baby boy. A little Space Tomato Jr. He's a little crazy already. He's gonna handle payroll. He'll be HR. You'll be like, hey, little Tomat, I think I'm gonna take the day off tomorrow, and he's gonna be like, and I'll be like, okay, all right, I know, I took overtime last week. Okay, all right, we'll stick to the normal schedule this month. The Aussie streamers are usually streaming at 4 a.m. US times. Well, that's because they're oh. Is that 3 ships quantum traveling in, or just a glitch? Yeah, the Aussies play upside down, so they're just around the clock. You go to the gym at 6 a.m., get it over and done with before work? Yeah, 6 a.m. is my time. I try to be there by 6:30. Crassix! Brother, thank you for the sub, dude. I appreciate the 14 months of support. And Lightning Hawk, thanks with the bits, man. I hope you're having a good day. Said he was looking for a morning streamer so he could watch them at that time. Oh, that was Maverick. But then again, Maverick is also already over there. Maverick, why don't you just start streaming?
Hey there.
Hey there.
Hi.
Yay! We did it. We got what we needed. And now let's see what kind of consumables we can get here. So the Brant is here. That's at least useful. We'll grab one just in case. What does the Optimum do? Laser instability down. Lowers our mining laser power though. What we want is maximum power. I can lower instability otherwise in other places. This lowers instability, it raises our power, so this will be a good one. And if we got a surge here, that would be great, but I don't think we do. Stampede, no surge. What the hell is a Rumford? Oh, it's a fuel pod. Resistance, mining laser power 85%, optimum 85. I could get a gadget too, but I'm really not interested in getting out of my ship today. Might just do two stampedes. The Brant is good, mining laser power is up. Stampede's good, mining laser power is up. Maybe something to lower instability actually will help us out a little bit. Like a focus. They don't have the focus here. They had the focus at the last place. You little bitch. Optimum. This lowers instability. Oh, it's an active module though. Surges Levski only. Stampede can't be run twice. Isn't it passive? It's active? I thought Stampede was active or was passive while Surge was active. Wild. In that case, I want something that is passive that's just going to help us out. Let's see. Brant is active. Optimum is active. Rhyme is active. Stampede is active. I thought these were all freaking passive, man. Ah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Hello.
Filter module. Lowers our inert material. I could care less. Guess I'll just get more stampedes to put on over time. This is a bummer, dude. They really just, the way they supply this stuff is so annoying. Let's see what gadgets we have access to. What is lowers resistance?
Hi.
This lowers resistance but rages our optimal window. I quite like that. I'm gonna grab these two. They might help, they might not. Our main focus here is just to get those scanning improvements figured out anyways. No Rigers here. You don't have the voice for it? Dude, what? Alright, so since there's a Twitch ad coming up soon, I'm gonna go ahead and run it now so that you guys don't have to deal with it when we're actually out there getting to the rocks and like mining stuff. So let me just pop this stuff onto our ship. Make sure the ad runs. Grab our gadgets. And there we go. We're ready to mine. You do not need the whole package to be effective. Lasers, you do sort of need the whole package to be effective. Lasers, modules, gadgets, which I like, which I really do like. But the way they spread it out does make it a little bit difficult to do it quickly. And I always lose all my stuff. Is the radar changed as well? I haven't seen anything radar-wise, no. Oh! No, no, no! Hey! No! Stop! Just... What are you doing? We're friends. I can fix you. Usually you watch on YouTube with premium and... What the f***, bro? You watch on premium and chat on Twitch so you don't miss anything. That is actually pretty smart. You get the feed from YouTube, but you get the Twitch chat experience. Oh yeah, now you're just gonna sit normally, okay. Okay, I think what we're gonna have to do is just try to get in as quickly as possible when it gets up to the top before it glitches. And hope that that works. Otherwise, we can just die. That's fine. I think if I run from the front, I'll be able to get there fastest. Ready? No, come on. Let me get in. Let me in. We're good. We beat the first boss. You're waiting for the prospect to get an update closer to the fortune. So you've got some room to carry 1 or 2 extra lasers or a geo. Is there no storage in here? Is the internal storage not enough for that stuff? Had to make sure I wasn't flying into an asteroid. Back to Bloom we go. Pretty sure that ship would be more accessible if it didn't do that. Yeah, it'd probably be easier to fly if it wasn't broken. What does that say? Okay. We have set their goal too high. Let's try something else maybe we can actually achieve. Doesn't have internal storage. Shame on you, prospecty boy. Crotch shot. Got ourselves a new camera on the overhead there. Think it's a little bit clearer. Different resolution though. It's kind of missing the it's missing down here, which is where my flight sticks are going to be, so I got to figure out. It's missing the crotch, dude. Isn't it always just one sub away from the goal? And then you get to celebrate every time. I can't believe it! We are so back! That was random. Yeah, I start doing random things when I get bored. If I'm not talking to chat and there's not something cool going on in the game, then I start getting distracted very quickly. Because this is about the time normally where I would just get up and walk around my house, but you know, we got things to do. Thank you for the keyboard. It's pretty cool, but I'm still. I first got this keyboard and I was pretty excited to use it, and it's cool with the Stream Deck over here, but I've realized that like the mouse actually is more useful because I don't have to take my hand off anything, and having the Stream Deck on the right is genuinely, I think, the wrong move. I think it should be on the left of the keyboard. Still cool that it's here. It is pretty useful when you need it, but it'd be really, really sick if it was like movable, if you could move it around the keyboard. Oops. I just opened Spotify. Do you have a plan to watch the Odyssey movie directed by Christopher Nolan? I do have a plan. I just haven't figured it out yet. I definitely want to see it. I am very excited for that movie. we are simply not in a position really to be going to movies at the moment. I am everything, yeah. I want to watch it eventually. You could attach a magnetic fidget spinner to the desk. I have a fidget spinner. Wait, where is that? Where's my spinner? I don't know where it is. Now I'm gonna get distracted looking for it. All right, finally back at Bloom. What do you say we go down to the surface? I want to do some planetary mining. We'll be much more likely to find something we can actually crack out here. Picked up the mouse after seeing yours. You love it? Dude, I'm glad you're liking it. Good to hear, man. I am hoping to eventually get my profiles and pages posted so that, because the most hard part of having a mouse like this is the setup. And I think once you get past that, it can be really, really useful. And having the virtual thing on the screen helps a lot too. Make sure you use code TOMATO if you're getting anything. Even if you're getting something from Corsair that has nothing to do with peripherals, whether it's RAM, desktop, whatever, if you do use our link, it at least lets them know that we sent you. And encourages them to pay us money. All right. Mining improvements. We are sitting over Bloom. Cloudy boys. Are we looking best we can? Now that I know we can do that, yeah. Photo mode on cloud mode. It's looking quite nice. We're just going to get down to the surface and then start doing some scans and see what we can find. Okay. Like I said, sitting here over daytime side of Bloom, got a prospector with a helix and a couple attachments on it. We're going to see how easy it is to now find resources. We are, what, like 9,000 meters above the surface? So I'm pinging at these places that say unknown. We're not getting any readings on them yet. You can try flying closer to see. Do you not need a mining head for this? Can any ship do this now? Because that would actually make a huge difference. Alright, so is it within a certain... Yeah, okay. So it's within a certain range. We are now within about 6 to 5 clicks. And we're starting to pick them up. Just via ping. Not by radar. Let me put more power into the radar, if that's possible. It is not. Okay, I'll put less power into the radar. And see if that changes the range at which things pop up. Six clicks out, still unknown. 5.5, still unknown. Okay, it landed at about 5 clicks for this one. I'm gonna put the power back into my radar just so we can double confirm that that actually made a difference. All right, now this one is 8 clicks out. Let's see how close we need to get for it to show up. 7.5. 7 clicks. 6.5. 6. 5.5. 5. Huh. Interesting. Maybe this is because it's not a mineral. Yeah, that might be an animal. Three clicks out. Still nothing. Dolivine. No. Interesting. I wonder why that took so long to show up. Do you have to be in scan mode? That changes things. Okay, so I was dumb. This is the real way to do it. We're starting over. So in scan modes, pinging around. So just pinging, I've got my scan turned down to 2 degrees on the angle. Okay, well, I mean, you can scan from super freaking far away. I'm gonna widen it back out to 90 degrees and see if you can still scan things from far away. Okay, so it might actually be about your angle of scan. Let me tighten it in. 45 degrees, 11 degrees, 5, 2 degrees. Still not scanning. There we go. Okay. How about over here? Ping. No scan. I'm gonna widen out or narrow my scan field now to 22 degrees. Pinging. Oops. And the scan is working. It says it's scanned. Nothing yet. Okay, there we go. Baradome. Still at 22 degrees. Two degrees? There we go. Yeah, I'm really struggling to figure out if it's actually reacting to the way that I'm changing the angle or not, because it's kind of inconsistent. 90 degrees. It's basically not reactive at 90 degrees no matter what, so I think it does depend on your scan angle. Closing it down to 45 degrees. And now it's automatically scanning, so I don't have to press anything and it can identify. It doesn't pop up immediately though, and you do have to still change your scan angle. Right side, it's getting there. So from what I'm seeing, it's not like an immediate, you just fly around and immediately know what everything is. You still have to look at it. The closer you are though, the not as wide your scan angle needs to be. Or the wider it can be, I guess. You have to get the exact rock location, which only comes from a narrow scan. Once you get the exact rock location, when you ping again, it will deep scan. Look at the way I changed my scan angle. Now it can read the rock. Now it can't. Nope, now it's good no matter what. This is just... It's almost impossible to tell what's supposed to happen and what's not. You can roll the angle back past 90 to 180 and 360. The number just doesn't show it. I see. So ping, narrow your scan, get the exact rock reading. But I don't think you're getting like quality. You're not getting any stats on it. You just fracture it from over here. Come on, laser. Get better range. Yeah, I don't think it works in mining mode. Clearly that's not working. There's definitely something to be said about your scanning angle. All right, let's get down and crack this rock. Let's see how it changes actually on the ground. Doing the actual things. I love the occlusion from the clouds. It really adds to the lighting. All right, so you've scanned. You're getting in closer now. You're still in scanning mode. But that is not enough to get the deep signatures, the deep stats, all that stuff. Still says unknown everything up here. Inert material. Oh, it does tell you your composition. That's quite nice. You definitely can't crack this. And now we get to see how the Helix 1 performs with this new, supposedly new mining power in the lasers. Been buffed a little bit. So we got an 18,000 mass rock right here, which I feel like would not have been said, would have been listed as impossible before. Let's see if we can do this with just a Brant and a Stampede. Yikes. Oh, okay, we're putting something on it. We're getting something into it. Yeah, an 18,000 mass rock actually. With a prospector is pretty good. If I'm not mistaken. Solid. All right, so now we are still going to be in mining mode. And it looks like we are not getting all of the resource compositions from each rock like I thought we would. You have to scan. We do get it from the one that we originally scanned, but everything else is still, we still have to scan again to get the information on.
Mining mode off. Fracturing mode on.
There we go. If you ping, I see. If you ping, you get the info. Recall too that the mining laser received a 20% increase to laser power. Yeah, I think that's helped here. I feel like 18,000 mass rock would have been pretty difficult with this before. Let me find another one to crack open. I want to see that, how the pinging affects the ability to re-scan everything again.
Fracturing mode on.
Hey, what's up, Maverick? Welcome in. We got 2 Mavericks now, chatting in chat. No non-physical rocks yet. Ta-da! Alright, now I'm gonna ping. And yeah, we got all the compositions. Every piece tells us immediately what it's made of, so we don't have to go through all the scanning motions anymore. We can just start gobbling up some rocks, dude. Yeah, we call this action mining. You gotta keep yourself engaged. Just makes it more fun. Yeah. All right. But that's a pretty good look at it. Let's go check out some hand gems and see if we can scan them as well. Oh, look, it's aphrite. What do you... Of course it's aphrite.
Landing gear up.
Thank you. Now, why can't I...
Extraction mode on. Mining mode on. Mining mode off.
Alright, I've lost the ability to move my ship. It's not right shift. Is it free look? It's not free look. What is going on? Oh, okay, I can look around. And now I can move my ship. Thanks, Star Citizen. Alright, so I've scanned all these ground minables now. Let me see if we look at it. Yep. We get all of their qualities as soon as we look at them. We no longer have to scan each one. That actually might be a bigger deal for hand minables than anything else. Oops. Sorry, buddy. I don't think I have a hand mineable laser, but we can double check real quick. Benefit Man! Dude, thank you for the sub, bro. I appreciate your 10 months supporting the stream, the channel, our family. It goes a long way, dude. I hope you're having a good day and had a great weekend. And enjoying the mining look. Oh. Oh, okay. I have my tool, but I actually don't think I have an attachment for it. I don't. That's too bad. But it is very, very possible and likely, if we had FPS scanning and radar, maybe I could tell you, that you no longer have to scan each FPS mineable when you come down here. Overall, a pretty nice improvement for exploring, I want to say. And I say that because really this is a change to prospecting. Mining, in my opinion, mining missions should send you to get a rock that you already know the information of. If you're just out and about scanning stuff down and finding it to mine, that's prospecting, you know, that's exploration. And I'll say this is a great addition to mining, but I think this is going to have a lot bigger implications as it moves forward than with just mining. On your computer, that happens semi-regularly. Normally, free look will fix it. Yeah, weird one to have happen. Does a scanning ping also work on the turrets in the mole? That is a good question. Have they fixed the missing ore when storing at a refinery? That I don't know. I think that's probably more of a database problem than a mining or game systems problem. We'll have to keep an eye out for it for sure. Clearly not. Clearly it's not critical. Oh, it was critical. Peak mining. Wait, I could actually get a good crack on this one. If I just let it keep going. Oh, so close. So close. There you go. That's not bad. Dude, you could you could kind of make this work. They have such huge freaking efficiency bars that we're golden. We're good. We're Gucci. We got our Aphorite. I feel so accomplished. Oh, I didn't get that one. There we go. Now this is pro mining. If only I needed Aphorite, then I could just sit here and do this. It'd be even better if I could then extract them with this. Come on up, guys. Get in my belly. Yeah, I don't think they want to come. Well, it was fun while it lasted, y'all. Oops. Can you slurp it? Only the best. Is it still... It's still good advice to hold off buying a mining ship until 4.9 actually lands on live? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is a PTU change. We don't even know if this is going to make it to live. It probably will, but they haven't even put it in the patch notes. This is one of those things that would generally pop up on a patch watch, but they don't really do the patch watch anymore. All right, we're going to go to Nyx so we can do a little bit of space mining and see how that treats us, because that's where you usually run into big rocks you can't crack with the prospector. Actually, you know what? Better yet, how about we go ahead and put to test what you guys are asking about. I'll grab a mole, and we'll see if the mole also benefits from this. Dude, just fly me to Obituary. What? Hey, what's up, Quincy? Welcome in, brother. If we're golden, does it mean we're going up, up, up? This is our moment. We've been hiding, now we're shining. Like the miners were born to be. Is that a song or a miner's anthem that I didn't know about? Nope, can't say that. Your mining ship isn't even in game yet. Don't know when it's on the progress tracker. The Arastra. Arastra's a cool ship, but I do hope that mining changes to be a little bit more interesting and complex by the time we get it. Golden by K-pop Demon Hunters. I see. I haven't seen that one. Flip and burn, bro, huh? Is this RC2? I don't think they've released a release candidate yet. Seems like an upgrade. Is refining unchanged? Refining is unchanged as of now from what I know. You keep seeing different players saying that our mining inventory will be wiped in 4.9. Is there anything to that? I haven't heard anything official, but I don't necessarily hear everything. You most likely heard that song on the radio, though. It's been a big hit this past year. I haven't listened to the radio in years, man. I'm probably extremely disconnected from whatever popular music is right now. I almost exclusively these days listen to a mixture of RKCB, Old Lupe Fiasco, Stellar Drone, The Intangible, and the occasional Quincy Jones. Where's the mole? Why am I even in here? I need to get a new ship. Prosby boy. Prosby me boy. Sponge me boy. Oh, what? Do I now have a mole in the PTU? I'm in the wrong size hangar. In the most recent Q&A, Benoit said they have inventory added to the entitlement system launched in 4.8, so it's not supposed to go away, but we don't know if it'll work. Yeah, 4.8 did actually have some pretty big changes to persistence. It's kind of missed because the whole patch itself was a disaster, but in 4.9, the hopes that things are a little bit better at sticking around. Sorry to let you know, Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Jimi Hendrix, they've all passed away. Well, I appreciate knowing that now. That's a lot to tell somebody all at once, Quincy. A little bit off topic, but rewatching The Expanse, it's a bummer we don't have Shorei Agdashu voicing an NPC at SC. That woman has an amazing voice, dude. Oh my gosh, the amount, like, that would be incredible. Hearing her voice in this game would legitimize it so much more than any of the other people I've heard. No offense to the other people. I super respect their names and their work, and I think they're all great at what they do, but there is something about her that, like, when she's on a project, I listen. I pay attention. Like, she's not talking about something unless it's important. She might be cast for Terra's Mission Giver. Dude, I would love for her to become the Imperator. Then I guess we wouldn't really hear from her as much if she was the Imperator. Nah, she should be a Mission Giver, you're right. Or like just somebody that you meet in the world that's like a mentor. Yeah, she's iconic. She's amazing. Her voice is iconic. Her looks are iconic. How she carries herself is iconic. The Expanse is iconic. Ah! I wouldn't mind more recognizable voices, or even just more voices in general in this game. I say that feeling a little bit bad because we waited so long just to get any voices in this game. But now that we're finally here, I would really love if there were just more voices. It's actually surprising how often you hear the same voices when you realize that CIG has a partnership with 12 Labs, whatever it's called. And I'm not sure what that partnership entails or what the point of it is, but, you know, you would think they could create more NPC voices that way. Granted, I'd prefer if they stuck with actual voice actors. But I think that is just a funny, I don't know if you could call that a coincidence. Your grandson just asked, who's Jimi Hendrix? Looks like he's gonna have school after all. He's like Nick Jonas, but from the 1900s. I don't think that's accurate at all. Wes Chatham would be awesome too. I think Wes Chatham made the biggest impact of any actor in that show. His character was so well written. Oh, 11 labs. Yeah, not 12 labs. They got 13 whole labs, dude. All right. We're at the local asteroid cluster in Pyro. A great opportunity to get destroyed by a pirate, but we're out here to try and find a mineable rock, so let's just get off into the distance here. Crazy how much infrastructure there is in this system. Wes does a podcast with one of the series authors. Yeah. I thought I had seen that. What's the name of that? I should probably tune in. Wes is an epic sci-fi nerd. Have you heard his podcast about The Expanse? I have not listened to any episodes of it, no. Oh, look at that. We're getting readings without even scanning. Like, I'm not even in scan mode and you're starting to get stuff picking up. I'll switch to scan mode now. Let me tighten the angle. So you can just scan from further. Oh, that's debris. So I'm not scanning now, right? 14 kilometers away. No scan. I'm gonna drop down to 45-degree angle. Nothing. 22. Nothing. 5. Nothing. All right, that rock is 9.4 kilometers away. Let's try that one. 90 degrees, ping, 45. $22. Okay, and we're scanning, and it's debris. 10 kilometers away here. 90 degrees, pinging. 45 degrees. 22 degrees. $22 degrees seems to be good at 10 clicks, about. See if 45 can make it 7. Yep. So there's certainly some range to it that you'll have to figure out yourself. And I'm hoping that means that with different ships we can scan further, which would start to make certain ships with different radars be better at exploring. I mean, if you can scan and identify rocks in a ship without a mining laser, and it actually gives you a benefit based on your radar type, the actual only thing we're missing at this point is the ability to save and send data points, which we know for a fact is a thing. That's like the final moment when this starts to become a profession. You can have somebody who goes out and just finds mineable rocks and turns them back in to whoever is looking for them. At that point, miners don't have to scan anymore. You just go and mine. This was talked about most recently at CitizenCon 2023.
So,
literally here. This is because the last time we watched this clip, we were talking about the same topic. This is such an incredibly important part of Star Citizen, and we're still just kind of hoping comes about, but these are the signs that I think make it a little more possible that we'll see it soon. Listen to this.
Incrementally.
So I talked at the beginning of this about going to a place and downloading a map to get information. Check it out.
As you'll notice, we have an objective. It's much more interesting if we can actually take this on the go. So let's download it to our data bank. As you'll notice, we now have the representation of the environment in the upper left corner of our visor.
Yeah, we love that, but it goes further.
You may encounter run-down settlements, or you might come across a cave that no one else has ever set foot on before. What will happen in this instance is your radar will incrementally update your map, and it will incrementally reveal your environment and save that to your data bank. So you kind of reveal it incrementally. So this map, what we see in the upper left corner of our visor, is not really just a map. What it really is actually data. It's our radar. And we can see contacts on our radar as we scan. And it's basically what we have available stored in our data bank. So because we have the location data saved to our data bank, we can obviously access that via our mobiGlas. So let's go ahead and pull it up in our mobiGlas, because this is going to get really...
He goes further eventually to show off the ability to like save points on the map. somewhere around here, and then talks about the idea of what that would mean for everybody else, because you could save the point, send it to a friend, and then they could go and follow it somewhere else. See if I can find that. But all this stuff is explained to show where exploration is going.
Press T. So, what we can do is set a marker, and we can customize the details of that marker. Now, what you'll notice as well is as we set markers, there's metadata that
you can still only put these markers in on like an actual landing zone, not out in space, which is, that's really it. If you could come into a situation like this, place a marker on this map, and then send it to somebody and be like, there is a bunch of Quantanium here. Boom. You just get a whole bunch of money and you got your exploration gameplay. This is 2023.
Is encoded into each of these markers on top of the customized name that we can specify. So we can mark as many markers as we want in this map. And these are all saved to our data bank. And we can eventually share these markers and even sell these markers on the market.
And there you go.
So the thing about
now, it's just talk. I know, it's just a stage. It's CitizenCon. It's same old, grain of salt, all that jazz. But, like, people will tell you that there's no plan for exploration in this game. And they have told us in very plain language exactly what an explorer can do. And we're seeing signs of it now coming about with the ability to scan for this stuff. You don't need to be in mining mode. You don't have to have a mining laser. You can just go out into the game and start locating and reporting stuff back to your friends. We're just missing the ability to actually save it. So we're getting there, and I think this is a good start. Let's check out the mining laser itself and see if the ping works there too. I'm gonna make sure I'm actually a decent amount of space from a rock, because if it works in the mole or in other seats and not just the pilot seat, that also can make multi-crew exploration ships matter more, because then you can just be flying around and have other people scanning and locating valuable objects. Yeah, that was almost 3 years ago now. What do we think is the reason for not having this now? Because the people who were working on that system probably had to work on Squadron 42. Either that, or they just don't care about it enough to work on it right now. At the end of the day, every single time there's a question of why isn't that working yet, it's because of money. They just don't have enough money, man. And I'm not saying throwing hundreds more developers at these problems are going to make them happen faster, but I do think that they have to pick and choose where the effort goes every year. And they don't want us to explore. They hate us. It's that simple. All right, in a mole laser, secondary check. Let's see if we can do any good kind of scans and pings from here and get information. So we got an unknown over there, and I can't, I guess I identified it at least. Anything else? It's not actually showing me stuff that's missing, so I can't. I'm gonna have to go up and move the ship again. We need a reason for the character to exist and be functional. Interesting. It looks like there is stuff to be scanned out here, so it might just be that the turrets still can't. Alrighty. This might be a good spot. Let's see if we can do any scans out here. Trying to find a use for his MSR and turtle. My turtle is a great ramming machine. Nothing else needed. Just fly that into a Polaris and you win. Yup, it works on the turrets, guys. At least in the mole turret, it looks like you can identify stuff from further away, unless I did that when I was still in the pilot seat, but I don't think I did. I just heard it actively scan and identify the aluminum there from 8.5 kilometers away. So at the very least, when you are in another seat in a ship with scanning mode turned on, you can scan off axis and find stuff. I hope that it works at the same time that the pilot is scanning, because this could be a very, very, like, yeah, this could be a huge improvement to multi-crew mining. Overall, pretty solid update to being able to prospect, despite it being pretty quiet. Maybe it'll pop up in the PTU patch notes coming up. Maybe we'll see it in the patch watch. I don't know, but I do think this is going to be pretty important for folks going into 4.9. Hope you got the info you needed. Any last questions on this, guys? Any last things you wanted to see? It's all coming together. Yee, Ava. It's all happening as planned. Sticking around for This Week in Star Citizen? No, I think I'm gonna wrap things up here. Unless they've already put it out. They have not. They have not said anything about the new patch coming out. I'll probably cover This Week in Star Citizen in another video. I'll just post it to Space Tomato 2 later. Have they ever mentioned what types will there be to explore besides minables? Generally, it's been minables, harvestables, derelict spaceships, abandoned space stations, asteroid facilities, stuff like that. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. The biggest thing I hope they do with exploration is have comets that come into the star system and leave over time. I think that would be really cool. Cool time-based exploration thing that's cyclical. Imagine hopping into the game. People are like, oh dude, so-and-so comet came by just a month ago. You barely missed it, but it should be back in 4 months. Oh yeah, transient jump points also. That's a good one. Alrighty then, guys. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate you. Should have a new video covering Genesis and the next steps in Planet Tech coming out for you later this week. Keep an eye out for that. If you are on Patreon, I will probably be posting like the script or whatever work I'm doing in the meantime over to Patreon. I'm trying to start doing more behind the scenes, interesting bits of information for our Patreon backers. As obviously a thanks for being there, but also because I want to make that the kind of center of like game development covery. I think that's where we're going to start covering different games and hitting some more deep dives into industry news and stuff. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you can always sign up on our Patreon for free. Then you're able to see the posts and click in whenever there's one that interests you. Or you can just not simply, if you are already a patron, keep an eye out for that. We're covering Genesis this week. And I don't have one for next week yet, but I'll probably be doing some exploration focused stuff as well since this is coming up. Another stream on Wednesday. I'll see you guys all there for some more testing in the PTU. And then we begin prep for the streamathon next week. We're calling it the Diaper Drive. It is genuinely going to be what makes our ability to survive late August, early September. So that's an important one. And we'll be doing a lot of giveaways for Gatak ships, for RSI ships, possibly an Anvil ship. Keeping the dream alive, keeping the vibes high, and just having a good time in the meantime. I'm going to pass you all over to Enterprise. He's doing some Star Citizen. Y'all go give him a good song to play. Have yourselves a good time, a good day. Thank you so much for being here. Y'all are great. I appreciate you. You deserve some good things in your life. You are good people. This is genuinely such a great community. Fantastic time to chat and look at gaming stuff. You guys eat something you love, give somebody you love a hug, do something you love. You deserve good things. See you in the next one.